It was one of those rare, peaceful afternoons at a roadside cafe. The sun hung lazily in the sky, casting a warm golden hue across the outdoor tables, where a few scattered patrons sipped their drinks, enjoying the slow pace of the day. Birds chirped, the distant hum of passing cars filled the air, and the world seemed calm until they arrived. Three bikers, all clad in leather jackets and adorned with tattoos that seemed to tell their own wild stories, rolled into the cafe's parking lot. The roar of their engines echoed through the quiet streets, demanding attention. They were used to being the center of attention, used to their presence turning heads wherever they went. Their bikes weren't just machines. They were symbols of power, freedom, and defiance. The bikers swaggered into the cafe, taking up space with their loud laughter and arrogant grins. They pushed through the door like they owned the place, drawing curious glances from the other customers. But none of that mattered. They were there to have a good time, and they didn't care who was watching, except for one person. At a corner table by the window, a man sat alone. He was in his late 20s, wearing a faded military cap and a simple t-shirt. His presence was understated, easy to miss. He wasn't here for attention. He was just having his coffee, eyes scanning the room, appearing almost invisible to the loud group of bikers. But something about the way he sat, calm, composed, almost detached, caught the bikers' attention. One of the bikers, a hulking figure with tattoos covering his arms and neck, noticed the soldier and sauntered over to his table. His steps were heavy, his grin wide, and his voice loud. "Hey, soldier boy," the biker said with a cocky laugh. "You lost or something? You don't look like you belong here." The soldier didn't flinch. His eyes, though, met the biker's, calm, unwavering, almost piercing. For a second, the entire cafe seemed to fall silent, as if the air itself was holding its breath. The biker leaned in, clearly amused by the lack of reaction. "What's the matter? You gonna salute me or what?" The soldier's gaze didn't waver. He leaned back in his chair, his movements slow and deliberate, almost calculating. "I don't start fights," he said, his voice quiet but firm. "But I finish them." The biker scoffed, not expecting such a response. He leaned closer, a smirk still playing on his lips. "Oh yeah? I think you're in the wrong place, buddy." But there was something in the soldier's eyes that made the biker pause. A flicker of something deeper, something that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. "Listen, you can keep running your mouth all you want," the soldier continued, his tone low and steady. "But I suggest you leave me alone. I'm not the guy you want to mess with today." The biker's smile faded. He wasn't used to people talking back, especially not in his territory. He glanced at his two companions, who were now watching the interaction with growing interest. The tension in the room thickened. The other bikers were eyeing the soldier, sizing him up, wondering if he was bluffing. The cafe's few other patrons had stopped what they were doing, their eyes now glued to the scene unfolding before them. It was clear this wasn't just a war of words anymore. It was about pride. And something about this soldier made it seem like he wasn't just some easy target. The biker, now seething, pushed the soldier's table hard, trying to provoke a reaction. The soldier didn't budge. He simply stood up, his chair scraping softly against the floor. Every movement was precise, controlled. It was as if he was gearing up for something, but the bikers still didn't understand what they were dealing with. And then, it happened. In a blur of motion, the soldier sidestepped the biker's charge, using his opponent's own momentum to send him crashing into a nearby table. The sound of the collision was deafening, and the room went still. The biker groaned, stunned by the force, his pride shattered. His friends stood frozen, unsure of what to do next. The soldier didn't even break a sweat. He was back at his table, his hands folded casually in front of him, like he hadn't just disarmed a man twice his size with the ease of a seasoned fighter. He looked up at the remaining two bikers, his gaze cold but unwavering. "I don't want trouble," he said again, his voice as calm as ever. "But if you push me, I'll finish it. You've got one chance to walk away." The tension was unbearable. The bikers stared at him, sizing him up once more, but something had changed. They'd just underestimated the wrong man. The first biker tried to get back up, but he could barely move, the shock of the fall still rattling his body. His friends exchanged a look. They were no longer sure if they wanted to escalate things further. The leader of the group, still standing and visibly shaken, looked at the soldier one last time. He could tell that this wasn't a fight he was going